Let's learn about some easy swaps you can make in your daily routine.
And as a brief side note for teachers, this presentation and the following video afterwards is going to include a few interactive parts. Go ahead and give the video a pause to give students more time so they can actually interact with this presentation.
First, you can learn how to reduce waste in shopping for food. You can aim to buy less packaged food, buy in bulk, bring your own containers, and buy things with paper and cardboard packaging that's recyclable and can be reused. These swaps and substitutions aren't only better for the environment, they're also cheaper, which we'll see in our next activity. So let's guess the price per pound for some items. Put your answer in the chat. How much do you think a bottle of packaged spices costs? We'll reveal the answer in a moment. How much do you think the same amount of bulked spices would cost? Now for packaged hemp seeds, put the price in the chat, and then the same amount of bulk hemp seeds, put the price in the chat. We'll reveal in a moment, but teachers can pause here to give your students time to answer. All right, packaged spices are $50, and for the same amount, bulk spices cost $8. Incredible, crazy. And for packaged hemp seeds, that's $20 to a bulk hemp seeds worth of $10, half price.
Okay, something else that's really important to learn and understand is how to recycle and compost properly. So the first and most important step, of course, is just reducing your consumption altogether, trying to buy less plastic and trying to throw things out less. The next thing you can do is you can reuse things. So that means you can repurpose things and try to just find another use for them before you throw them out. And then next is to recycle, and you want to make sure that you're doing it properly, making sure that you're putting your glass in the right spot and your paper in the right spot, because otherwise you can actually add to more waste. And then the last thing you can do is compost, which is where you throw organic waste in the compost so that you're avoiding the organic waste from going into the landfill.
And the reason it's so important to avoid putting organic waste in the landfill is because if you didn't know, when organic waste gets mixed with plastic, as it decomposes, it releases crazy amounts of methane, which is a huge contributor to climate change.
Okay, so you try. Which bins do each of these items go into? Your options are landfill, recycling, or compost. So put in the chat where you think glass bottles would go. And then hard plastic container with food remains, or a coffee cup. And the last one is a greasy pizza box. Okay, so did you get it right? Glass bottles would go in the recycling because all glass can be recycled as long as it's clean. And you want to make sure that you clean glass before it goes in the recycling, or that it doesn't break. And then a hard plastic container with food remains would go in the trash because you have to clean plastic before putting it in the recycling. And then a coffee cup would go in the trash because they have plastic film on the inside and need to be thrown in the trash. But hard plastic lids can be recycled. And then the last thing, a pizza box can be composted because it has food remains, so it can't be recycled. Okay, so here's a kind of depressing food waste fact. Food loss and waste accounts for about 4.4 gigatons of greenhouse gas emissions. So that's what we were talking about with the methane earlier. And that's a hugely unnecessary amount of waste, and which is why we're doing the things in our club to prevent it. So that's equal to about 9.68 trillion pounds of food and about $1 trillion of food wasted.
Luckily, there are some ways that you can reduce food waste and eat sustainably. One really nice way is by doing meal prep, which reduces excess food. And another one is to follow zero waste recipes. One of our favorite zero waste chefs is at Max Lamana on Instagram. And another way you can reduce food waste is by composting any unused food scraps instead of putting them in the landfill. And also you can reduce your use of animal products, such as trying to find plant-based alternatives for protein. And also finally eat seasonally. Like for example, right now, you wouldn't want to eat summer fruits like peaches and cherries and strawberries. So now it's time for a brainstorm. So you can put your answers in the chat. Can you come up with a way that you can use the parts of these different foods that are normally thrown away so that you don't need to waste it? You can pick one of these three, and yeah. So first are potatoes, because usually people put the peels in the trash. And then the second are banana peels. And finally, the tops of carrots, which people usually cut off and throw away. Okay, so now that you put your answer in the chat, here are some other ideas. So for potatoes, you can try roasting the peels instead of throwing them away to make potato chips, or saving them to make homemade veggie stock. And then with bananas, you can try using the peels to make a fun recipe like banana peel pulled pork or banana peel pancakes. And finally, with carrots, you can try using carrot tops to make pesto, which is one of my favorite ways, and it actually turns out really good.
Thank you for watching our second video in this series, and we'll see you in the next one.